When Naruto was just a child, years before he was renowned as the famous protector of the Hidden Leaf, his potential was much more questionable than it is today, obviously. A child that could barely perform a transformation jutsu would go on to be looked down upon until he showed that even through all of this hardship and hatred, he would give his very life for his friends and the village no matter how they saw him. This drive and determination led Naruto to do some pretty amazing things throughout the original series, including mastering shadow clones, which he's always been pretty adept at, honing control over his chakra nature, and most famously next to those shadow clones, learning the Rasengan. While Naruto may be the master of the Rasengan, as we saw him probably use a million different types of Rasengan in the later half of Shippuden alone, his son Boruto is making pretty similar strides and at a much younger age and faster pace. The Boruto anime has entered a training phase as both Boruto and Sarada, after recent events, harp on themselves for just not being strong enough right now, causing them to go full force into intensive training. In episode 168, Boruto has begun training after experiencing a frightening defeat and sets out to make his Rasengan stronger, so he seeks out Kakashi for help. It isn't until 2 episodes later, however, that Boruto begins to make serious strides in his training when Shikadai returns to the village and finds him in the training forest. After informing Boruto of their narrow escape from Deepa, an inner or higher up of Kara, Shikadai grew weary that all of this training Boruto was doing was specifically to fight Deepa again, a task that they all have barely escaped with their lives with on both occasions. After hearing Boruto's explanation, however, and feeling a similar sense of vengeance himself, Shikadai agrees to help Boruto with his training, lending him one of the sharpest minds in the Leaf. On the first day of their joint training, along with the rest of Team Ino Shikacho, who show up to help, Shikadai says that Boruto should just forget about the one-style Rasengan for now because he can't sustain the intensity long enough at the moment. Remembering the battle with Deepa and how sturdy his body was, Shikadai comes up with the idea that Boruto's Rasengan should instead focus on piercing through a single spot. If he can hit that singular spot with the same destructive force of the Rasengan, then he should be able to pierce through even a shinobi like Deepa. However, figuring out how to do that is the mission in itself. The first bit of training they end up doing is more of marksmanship, as Boruto easily hits all of his targets. However, the sustained intensity of his technique still lacks in comparison. Later on that night, as the two sat beside a campfire, this is when the massive breakthrough that would change the very usage of the Rasengan would take place. Really quick before we go any further, if you guys haven't already caught up in the anime, we will be talking about the most recent episodes, obviously, so just a quick spoiler alert for any of those who want it. If you guys haven't already, be sure to have those notifications turned on by clicking the little bell icon down below to never miss an upload as soon as they go live, and if you guys have been enjoying the anime content recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. Don't forget to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related content, but without further ado. As they sat around the campfire following a long day of moderately successful training, Boruto complains about not being able to see the breakthrough possible. He says that maybe he should just go back to his original plan of perfecting the giant Rasengan. However, as Shikadai says once again, that route is out of the question right now for Boruto due to his current weaknesses. As they're about to turn in for the night, Shikadai tells him not to worry because they'll be right back at it again tomorrow. Yeah, Boruto replies. Also, I can learn a Rasengan that can crush any foe, no matter the durability. Durability? Huh, Shikadai replies, staring off into the campfire. He then goes on to explain how this makes him think about how the composition of both coal and diamond are pretty much the same, yet their durability is totally different. You see, while their composition may be the same, and I promise all of this science will make sense at the end, applying massive amounts of heat and pressure to the carbon in the coal results in diamonds that are extremely hard. This gets them wondering what's the most optimal way for Boruto to concentrate his Rasengan on a single point upon a surface, and this is when it hits him, and Boruto comes up with an idea that may be the exact thing they're looking for. The next day arrives as Chocho and Inojin return to the training grounds only to find a pile of boulder that looks to have been completely shattered and Shikadai staring at it amazed. Boruto has done it, and now he sets off to find Kakashi in order to show him his new technique and how much he's improved. Boruto approaches Kakashi, who is seen napping on a bench in the park, as he excitedly holds out his battered fist, ready to show his sensei his new move, and I feel like as Kakashi looked at his hand, he can't help but see Naruto when he was younger. Kakashi agrees to humor him and see what he's come up with now. However, he says he has an idea to maximize the testing better than just doing it on any old boulders, so they head out. When we return, Boruto and Kakashi have arrived at the Leaf Village's police facility as Kakashi tells Boruto his challenge will be here shortly. As Ibiki steps out from the shadows first, he asks Kakashi is he really sure about this, seeming concerned at what they're about to do, but Kakashi tells him not to worry and he'll take full responsibility for everything. From the dark corridor, stepping out of the shadows behind Ibiki, dragging massive shackles is none other than Shojoji, the bloodthirsty bandit from earlier in the series, and in case anyone forgot, yeah, this is the guy that literally eats people and he's about to be Boruto's training partner, as Kakashi tells him that if he can't defeat this guy, then getting to Deepa is beyond his wildest dreams. Episode 171 begins with Boruto and Shojoji about to battle as Shojoji has been promised a reduced sentence if he fights Boruto again, but only if he's left standing at the end of it. Kakashi then removes his restraints and he charges at Boruto immediately, missing his attacks due to Boruto's shiftiness. Boruto then begins creating a Rasengan for the first time, revealing a green wind-style Rasengan that he launches himself towards his opponent with, but this is when Shojoji uses his wind-style Zephyr Shield to cancel out the attack and send it repelling towards the ceiling. He looks up at the ceiling and after seeing the results of Boruto's attack, he does admit that it seems that he strengthened his jutsu quite a bit since the last time they fought, but if that's all he has, then it'll never work. However, Boruto just smirks. As he expected though, his wind-style Rasengan doesn't have quite enough power behind it yet to the point where he'd like it to be, so it's time to try something else. Returning to his former method of battle, Shojoji vanishes and then appears behind Boruto attempting to eat him now. The two start to battle for real now as the clashes ensue, with Boruto dodging everything from punches and kicks to bites even. Eventually he does find an opening and sends Shojoji flying, taunting him about how his attacks are so obvious. This is when Boruto decides that it's his turn to finally try it now, and he prepares another Rasengan in his hand, but something is much different this time. Shojoji routinely underestimates Boruto again, saying how his jutsu would do nothing up against the Zephyr Shield, naively thinking that the son of the 7th and most powerful Hokage would be the type of ninja to try a failed maneuver twice in a row. Boruto raises a second hand to his Rasengan as it becomes smaller and much more compact and concentrated, resembling a marble almost. As the intensity of the Rasengan grows and the size decreases, Kakashi is shocked to see what Boruto is doing with this technique now. He charges at Shojoji, who foolishly only acknowledges that the shape of Boruto's attack is the only thing that's changed, so he puts up his Zephyr Shield jutsu to block it head on. As the two attacks make contact, at first nothing seems different really. However, the high concentration of chakra in its super compressed form as Boruto has done has made his Rasengan a piercing bullet of chakra that sends Shojoji flying into the wall. High compression Rasengan. Boruto's new technique is an extremely powerful new tool at his disposal that Kakashi explains would have killed Shojoji had he not had his Zephyr Shield up. How Boruto has done this is by, instead of enlarging his Rasengan, making it more of a bomb-like attack I guess that disperses upon impact, he compressed and condensed its density to its absolute limit, allowing its damage to a single spot to be much more devastating. As the training session comes to an end, Boruto collapses from overexhaustion and chakra depletion, but his training has been a massive success and he's done something that even his father wasn't that adept in doing until later on in life. But what else can we really expect from the son of the 7th and Naruto Uzumaki himself?